All right, so we are back once again with Gebo the shaman, who has very generously volunteered to have his ET light being channeled reading recorded. So thank you very much, Gebo, for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, how would you like to start our session today?
Um, so I was just thinking, wanted to ask if they would like to tell me anything, um, and just kind of see where they stand and ask some questions or get some advice about stuff. So, yeah, just whatever they have to say to me.
Already? Well, let's see. When you first started talking, they were saying that you have really come a long way since you started working with them. Your power has been increasing, it's been coming back to you. So you've been reclaiming your power.
Mm.
You're reintegrating to your original self. And they want to reemphasize, they want you to know how powerful you are. You're more powerful than you realize.
Mm.
And just, for me to piggyback along with that, you know, the I know that you've been doing some distance healing and just listening to your experiences, it's pretty clear that you have a great deal of power. So
Mm.
that makes sense to me that there's a lot of, past life spiritual power that you're now coming into. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, this is again a phrase that is said a lot. We want him to know why he's here. And they say, you know why I'm here, but he needs to know why he's here.
Mm.
We've seen him come to this planet and he hasn't fully accepted his true path yet, ever since the original fall. And we know he is much more than he is even aware.
Mm.
He has the power to bring together the whole world. His love and his strength of character has the ability to bind people together. And just by being on this planet, you have a tremendous influence on people's ability to come together, the whole world.
Mm.
So you're a priest for the whole world. Okay, so these are their words. He knows why you're here, and we know why he's here. And he needs to continue to separate his idea about himself from the world. Continue to be your own person as you have already begun to do.
Mm.
It has become so important for the world, you can't even begin to understand what has happened in the world since you've started awakening to your true identity. It's got nothing to do with anyone else, and it's not connected to anyone else. Okay, so now they're taking me back to, or I think they're taking me back to long before you came onto this planet.
Mm.
So even before planets were created, his essence is of a healer. His energy before there were any planets or worlds, his energy was in all things, seeking to, see, say that again. Seeking to bring together the unity of all consciousness.
Mm.
And so you're sort of like background energy that allowed for conscious beings to come into existence.
Mm. Wow.
You know, he doesn't quite understand this yet, but when he fully awakens to this, the world will never be the same. We want him to know that he's too powerful to be wasted. So your
Mm.
energy is so powerful to them that they can't tolerate the fact of not being able to uh, see your power be used
Mm.
in the entire multiverse. See what else? You're so close, and you have definitely awakened to the true path in your true direction.
Mm.
And it's beautiful to watch. We don't want to interrupt that flow, but we've also been very inspired and surprised. So as soon as you were shown who you were, you began to awaken and expand and begin remembering your old work and resuming your old work. And it happened so fast that it took us by surprise.
Mm.
And we're so excited. So they're like clapping and cheering for you because of what you've accomplished.
Mm.
And you have a wisdom that is, let's see, how can I put this? You have a wisdom that aligns people to their consciousness in a way that nobody else can do. Nobody else can do that. And it's very masterful, and it may seem subtle, but it's actually more accurate and powerful than a lot of other methods. I would put myself into that category as well. You
Mm.
know, kind of heavy-handed the way I do things. And that doesn't work with some people. And your path works very well with most people. So
Mm.
you have a better capacity to reach more people with your skills, your technique. This is something that you have honed over tens of thousands of lifetimes in many different universes. And it was this ability that allowed you to rise in prominence in the multiverse. So you do have a very powerful position
Mm. Wow.
in the multiverse. And again, just a reminder that this is just one video game that we're involved in. So the more that you disconnect from that idea, the video game, and the more that you allow yourself to keep expanding, the more and more of your power is going to be coming back to you. It'll happen very quickly. Okay, so
Mm.
what would you like to say or ask?
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Um, I would like to maybe I would like to know more about they said something about why that I don't know why I'm here, but or you you do, but or they do something like that. I was wondering about if they could tell me more about that or the true essence of myself.
Well, those are a few different things, I think.
Okay.
Try again, because that feels like a lot of different questions.
Okay.
So see if you can rephrase it
So let's see. Um, I want to know why I'm here.
in this life.
Yeah, what I'm here to do. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. All right, so why is he here in this incarnation right now? We didn't want him to know all of that yet because it will become clear very soon. This is true for everybody that many things will become clear very soon. There's a lot of major transitions that are coming. What we can tell him is that before he can reintegrate fully to the place of power that we've mentioned, he is going to have to release some old and deep karmic wounds that go in deep into his heart. And it's not just this lifetime. And I'm feeling a lot of energy here. These were previous lifetimes. So the feeling I get is that if we go back to your original pre-human life when you were this force that was able to help align energy and help align souls so that they could come into being, that strength takes a tremendous amount of subtlety and it takes a tremendous amount of self, like a calm, self-aware knowledge, and it's a self-awareness that doesn't come from anywhere else.
Mm.
In other words, no, you didn't see it in somebody else and they gave it to you. It came from completely within you. And it was unique to you. And what happened in past incarnations is very likely because of uh, what happened when you were that Egyptian priest, that tragedy, like I keep seeing the picture of you, why, that you lost that confidence in yourself. You somehow believed that you were at fault. Okay, I feel a lot of energy around that about what happened. And so you lost the calm, self-assured understanding. And it was sort of like, when you walk along and you trip and then you just keep like tripping,
Mm,
until you finally just fall. So there was like multiple lives like that where you were like trying to get it back, but all it would take is for some feeling of personal wounding, and that you had lost your protection. Your protection was that self-awareness that came from within, self-knowledge that couldn't come from anybody else.
mm,
But you were the source of that kind of self-confidence and awareness. And so those are the wounds that need to be healed. And it feels like there was a few lifetimes where you just like boom and then fell and you just kept falling. And you kind of, so this might be the life where you sort of hit rock bottom and you're going to shake yourself off and get back to who you are.
mm,
And the good news is that you're already doing all of those. Yeah, that's very clear. You're already doing all of those things that are necessary to bring that back.
mm,
And it really is learning how to fall in love again with yourself, with your own soul. There's nobody else like you.
mm,
Nobody can even come close to being what you are. You're so unique.
mm. Yeah. Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and again, it's, the beings that I feel when I'm channeling for you, uniquely, extremely gentle. I don't feel that level of gentleness. Not that other beings aren't gentle. It's just
Mm.
they're different. And being who I am, I get off on as much power as I can connect with.
Yes.
So, but these beings are very, very extremely gentle.
Mm,
And they're reminding both of us that there's a lot of power in that. It takes a tremendous amount of power to have that level of sensitivity and subtlety and gentleness. And there are things that cannot be accomplished without that.
mm,
But I think I may have said it in, I think maybe their first reading. I felt how very gentle these beings are that are working with you.
mm. Yeah. That's beautiful.
So this is your superpower.
Mm,
And when you want to tap into power, that's the place to go. To go
mm,
into the place of gentleness and kindness and that kind of very deep nurturing. So it means that, when all the loud voices are yelling at you, right?
mm,
Like they do to all of us, and they make us feel uncomfortable or anxious or frightened or angry or whatever. That kind of noise can drown out that underneath energy.
mm,
So that's a strategy for you to get through. You don't have to pretend the feelings aren't there, of course, but take a deep breath and sort of try and look for that very gentle power that isn't doesn't have all that flash and all that noise to it.
mm.
And if you're able to tap into that, then you will feel an energy begin to surround you and lift your frequency up. And then
Mm.
give you perspective. And then things will become much clearer for you when you do that.
Wow.
So, I mean, I just got a flash of sometimes you get very hurt and you get very angry, uh, and um, seems to kind of come out of nowhere. And this is, let's see, what would you like to say about that? This is alien to your natural state of being.
Mm.
So it's even more traumatic for you than it would be for me, for example. If I get
Mm.
angry, that's my kind of my normal state of, aggressive being. It's very out of character for you, and it ends up having such a power that it takes you, like it slams you, and then you can feel helpless, like you don't know how to get out of it. Like just
Yep.
so it's important for you to know that, it's very toxic for you, and see how. So give me some solutions here. So when he looks within and he finds that calm light within, this will give him that ability to to ride past those distractions. They're distracting me.
Mm.
So what seems to have happened is early on after that Egyptian life, you started judging yourself. You started doubting yourself. You looked back on all your other lives doubting, the tremendous success that you had as a head priest. You looked back on all of that and doubted any of it, and just went from one extreme to the other. You went to this extreme. So this is what happens when you lose that very calm, stable, powerful place. When you lose that, you go to the complete other extreme of doubting yourself, severely doubting your experiences. And so it's like a self-defense mechanism. You will put yourself in those states where you feel angry and upset and violated and confused. And you're doing that because it feels safe. Like you'd rather, because you think it's the truth. So I'd rather know the truth than pretend that I'm something I'm not.
Mm.
So when you find yourself going into those states, you can stop and go, okay, I'm doing it again. And
Mm.
I can go back deep within. And maybe this is just me talking now. Maybe you can do a meditation to go ask to be taken to where you first came into being and feel that energy and then reconnect yourself to that.
Mm.
That when, I mean, you can go there whenever. If you feel good, you can go there. But also when you feel, doubtful or anything else, you can meditate and go back there and reconnect. So your power has always come from outside of this world.
Mm.
So trying to find it in this world will be frustrating for you.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people can find things in this world and convince themselves they found something that gives them power and success. And we know that that's an illusion, but you don't even get to grab onto those illusions because of who you are,
Yeah.
because you were never meant to 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 do that in this video game.
Mm.
You were always meant to be an example for the rest of the world of here's where our power truly comes from. So when you get disconnected from that, this is very traumatizing for you,
Mm.
extremely traumatizing. And you're going to come home soon.
Mm.
What that means, I don't know. I assume that it means that you will come home to your power within. So a lot of people have, even scientists and others have said that we are really just holographic projections from another reality. And this has been your truth. You have known this in many lifetimes. You have known this. And people have come to you as a priest. That's your job as a priest. When you're doing your work, you actually project around the people,
Mm.
whether they consciously understand what you're doing or not isn't important. And you've always known that.
Mm.
So that's the place to put your energy. Put your energy towards getting reconnected to that, reawakened to that, and um, then the stuff here on Earth will take care of itself.
Mm. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I was also wondering about like my parents. Like did I have any kind of special attachment to them or any karma with them or their relation to me in past lives?
He knows that's going to be a sticky subject. We would like for him to focus on where he's going. He will be able to recalibrate his connection to his family as he continues to reconnect to himself.
Mm.
Let's see. I'm wanting to get clarification on that. When he knows where he comes from, he'll have a much better perspective on his family. All right. And so now I think they're asking me to share with you my experience. So, a lot of my story with the light beings and what they've shown me. I think I have shared this in other videos early on because I had to get it all out. I couldn't keep any secrets.
Mhm.
So I can tell you that my experience of myself now compared to when my family was alive. It's very different. But it changed even more when I had this experience.
Mm.
So this was very early on when I was getting visitations from light beings, and I was getting visitations from people in my life that had passed away. My mother, my father, my sister, my ex or my fiance who passed away. I was communicating with them a lot, and one day I don't know where I don't. Anyway, one day I was in meditation and I was taken to a place, and all of my family was lined up in front of me. My mom, my dad, my sister, my brother. They were all lined up in front of me. And they all looked at me and they said, "You're not like us." And then I felt this power and I started like growing. And I was getting like huge and they were getting really tiny. And they were looking up. It's like the look on their faces, they were looking up at this very powerful being. And I hadn't been told any of the things that I know now about um, who I was before. And now it makes sense, but I didn't have any understanding of it. And I came out of that going, what am I supposed to do with that? You know, that it just felt so narcissistic and grandiose. So I think they're asking me to share that with you because as long as you're focusing on them, it keeps you into a tiny third dimensional size.
Mm.
And so you can't see who you really are as long as you're focused on that.
Mm.
So what will happen is the more that you focus on, practically where you're going, who you're becoming, and when you reintegrate and you do meditations to find out who was I before I was incarnated, who was I before Earth was created, and when you start expanding into that, then you'll find that um, those connections will either turn out to be, not as important as you believe they are, or they will transform into something altogether different. But right now, you're too close to it.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the short answer to that question is, of course, there's very profound connections. We don't end up with the people in our lives out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But they're also nothing like what they appear to be. They're
Mm.
these tiny, screwed up, people with all kinds of problems, and
Yeah.
that's just their third dimensional avatar. When you get underneath that, you find they're also these powerful deities in their own way.
Hmm.
So when you get some elevation on it and you look down, you'll be able to see them more clearly, and then you'll see the connections.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. That really helps. Um, so I guess I was gonna ask another question, but it seems silly. Like one of those 3D questions. Um,
Yeah, that's a good point. It happens a lot. Um,
mhm.
People have preformed questions,
Yeah.
and you want to go to the light beings with these preformed questions. And my experience is that they don't respond to those very well. Um, some questions they like, but a lot of questions that, will just,
Mhm. Mhm.
but that's how we learn. Anyway,
Mhm.
sorry, I interrupted you. Please continue.
Yeah, no worries. Um, so um before they said like you know, um, they kind of, well, I guess I'm trying to think of a think of a question. Um, they had kind of hinted at me being uh connected to Vishnu, and I was wondering how can I uh amplify that connection, or how can I, you know, get closer, or I just got a gold or copper pendant here, and it has Vishnu on it, as well as a Vishnu yantra. And so I was wondering, yeah, how do I get closer to that?
Okay, I think I have an idea, but let's see what they'd like to say. They say he knows it's coming home to his heart.
Mm,
And when you started talking, what I saw was like this big, you know, just projector coming out of your heart.
mm,
And that's, as we know, that's who Vishnu is. He's the preserver.
mhm,
And I believe his name means, and it's interesting. It's what I was just saying earlier on. He penetrates everything. He's the space
mm,
that allows for life to happen. So he's the preserver. So that's the heart.
mm,
But the more that you can operate from the heart, the more powerful the Vishnu energy will be, very powerfully projected from you.
mm. Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's your power is untouchable when you're in your heart.
Mm,
Nothing can harm you, nothing can touch you. Everything has to bow to that.
mm. Yeah, beautiful.
I really responded the last time when I had seen you and you had, cut your hair short and you were wearing some malas and you talked about, sort of like almost dressing up like a monk or something. And I totally felt that.
Mm,
Like if you wore that costume, all of that would really shine through. Now, it would be a very vulnerable place for you to be, you know. A wimp can't put on those robes, you know.
mm,
It's just too vulnerable for, wannabe tough guys or insecure people. They can't do that.
mhm,
So for somebody to put those robes on and to fully go with that, that takes a lot of heart.
mm,
So on the one hand, it can be a vulnerable position, but if you own it, I mean, the reason why I say that is that it will have an impact on others.
mm. Yeah.
People will see that and it will impact them. I was watching a video of a guy who was an astrologer and he was talking about the nakshatras, but he went on and told this story about when he was a Hindu priest and he wore all the robes and he was walking around in a really nasty neighborhood where he lived in New York. And he said people just they left him alone. Really bad, sketchy people. They just never bothered with him because they knew don't mess with the priest, man. He's hooked up to something else. You don't mess with that.
Mm, mhm,
And so I'm getting the feeling that if you really bought into that, but you were like a priest of a projector of the heart, that people would really respond to that very powerfully. And it would have a very healing impact just being around people as
Mm.
you're projecting who you truly are.
Mm. Wow. Awesome.
And
Yeah.
what is your, in your Vedic astrology, what is your Aruta Lagna?
It is moon in Aquarius in the fifth house.
In the fifth house?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Moon
Nice.
in Aquarius in the fifth house. Yep. There's your power, my friend.
Awesome.
If you own it, everything will change.
Mm.
Everything will change.
Awesome.
And the priests are going like this.
Awesome. Aw. Yeah. Yeah. I think I was wondering if they could maybe direct me. How do I got a vision a while back about this little girl playing, and I was asking her who her parents were, and she said that I was her father, in the way the kids do. Well, you're my dad, silly. And so I was wondering what that's about.
Okay, let's see. Who is the little daughter? So I don't understand this phrase, but it's she is your home. She wants you to come home. So that's what else can you tell us about that? If you unlock the truth about your true destiny, your daughter will reveal to you what is the most important secret to your deepest truth. We know that she loves you more than even we can understand. When you're ready to know where she comes from, we will take you to her. In the meantime, you should ask her.
Mm.
So, in that, have you seen her since that vision?
No, I haven't.
Ah, okay. So, again, I'll share with you um, my experience. I've never been interested in children, and I made a, you know, here I am now, 61. I don't have kids, and I'm grateful for it. I wouldn't. Everybody else can have kids. I'm happy for that, but I haven't wanted that.
Mm.
And when I went to in my astral body, when I went to my 5D world, there was a little girl that kept showing up, and she'd be playing on the ground in front of me, and then and at one point I don't remember when or how. But same thing. I said, who are you, little girl? And she said, you're my daddy. And that was very shocking to me. It's like, what? You got a spirit baby somewhere? I didn't know what that was, what it meant. And it wasn't until, many, I would go into that place and she'd be there and I'd talk to her and I'd play with her. For a while, I thought it was the spirit of my mom because I had found out that I had had a past life for my mom was actually my daughter in another lifetime. So I
Mm,
thought maybe that's who it was. And then I can't remember how it was shown to me, but it was shown to me that this was the earth. And she went on to tell me, "You're my daddy. You created me. You're my father. And it's your job to take care of me and to protect me." And so that had a lot to do with knowing who I was and what my job is now and where what it will be. So my point is that it will be helpful for you to keep going to those in meditation and keep going to her and asking her to just be with you and talk to you and let her connect to you, because I can tell you that the single most powerful healing for my heart has been talking with my little princess Gaia. It's
mm,
just the single most powerful healing thing to my heart has been talking with her, playing with her, listening to her, and
mm,
um, in those meditations. So don't be a stranger. Go and just don't go in trying to figure it out. Just go and play with her and talk to her, and eventually you'll find out. It's just like getting to know anybody else. You get to know her and you figure
yeah,
out who somebody is.
yeah. Cool, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
Awesome. It was just so unexpected. I was kind of like, had that reaction like, huh?
Yep.
What?
Yeah, me too. I had the same experience. It's like, wow, I don't want that. What? What is this? But now I can't imagine not having that. In fact, I
Mm,
spend a lot of time. In fact, today I was driving and I was thinking about her and I was sending her love and telling her how much I loved her. And I
mm,
felt a lot of emotion. And out of nowhere, this tropical bird comes just flying out between the cars and flies in front of my window. And then, it was just, that was her. She was saying, "Here I am."
mm. Aw, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's something in that. And I'm willing to bet that there's a huge amount of healing because
Mm,
I mean, just from a practical perspective, when you spend time feeling love towards a child, I mean, that's nothing opens your heart more than that.
hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Yeah, there seemed to be like this, multifaceted, kind of multidimensional uh interplay in these things. It's like uh just brings so much like awareness and all that. And yeah, they were saying that they were surprised how quickly I adapted to it. Just yeah, it's because you know, it's it's just something that is going to help me. So that's. And so yeah, re- I'm if I had this one really crazy reaction to like whenever I see like really buff guys, like really muscular, huge guys, I always get intimidated by that or or angry or something. I think that's the self-defense mechanism coming in.
I think that's just being a human male. I have the same reaction.
Mm,
I think we all have that. Maybe there's something specific to you about it, but if I have the same reaction when I see that.
mm,
I get,
yeah.
get intimidated, I get frightened, I get defensive, I get all that stuff.
Mm. Yeah.
So why did you bring that up?
Um, so I was wondering if there was um any past life stuff with things like that. I mean, if it might be like I mean, because I had that reactions, it was so like subtle for me, or so like sudden. It was just like went from 1 to 10. And so I was wondering if there was any kind of past life stuff with that.
Give me a second. So there's going to be a kind of a repeat similar to an earlier answer is that isn't it's not a helpful question for you because when you go down that path, like looking, in other words, looking in a past life for what limits you,
Mm,
that's the wrong focus. So what we want to do is we want to focus on what is going to empower you.
mm,
So even if and they're not, but even if they were telling me, yeah, in a past life this happened, all that's going to do is re-traumatize you and it's not going to help you move forward. It just gives you another excuse to feel all kinds of negative, limited things.
yeah.
So similar to asking, the feeling I got asking about your parents was kind of like that, looking backward. Why did this negative thing happen? It feels like the question is, why are these negative things happening to me? Right? And you know that that's not a question that's going to lead you anywhere, even if you get the answer you're looking for,
Mhm,
right? It doesn't help you move beyond that. So the question isn't, what are the things that have limited you and harmed you and brought you down, and why does that hurt so bad? The question is, what is the cure for that? And the cure for that for you is to connect to the much more powerful state of being that energy that permeates everything and allows everything to exist. It's a much more powerful place to be.
mm,
And I guarantee you, if you get connected to that feeling, you're not going to be thinking about any of that
yeah.
stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, this is me talking now, but I think this is a very important thing to know that when that instinct in you comes up to start looking for reasons to justify why you have negative feelings, feeling small, limited, trapped, pick your negative feeling. That is your third dimensional self-defense mechanism, and it's distracting you from something much more frightening, which is what happens if you were to expand into your higher dimensional self.
Mm, yeah.
My other experience is that past life, negative past life things are brought to our attention only when they help us to become more empowered. So focusing on past life stuff that we don't remember, I've come to realize is a waste of time.
Mm,
If it was important, we would either remember it or it would be brought to our attention.
mm,
So I want to give you an example. Imagine that you have your little girl with you, right?
mhm,
And you look at her and you see her potential. You can see what she can become in life. And you're of course, you're seeing how beautiful and successful and powerful. And imagine if she started asking those limiting questions. You would say,
mm,
why are we talking about that? Do you know how amazing you are, how powerful you are? You don't need to worry about those things. I can see how amazing you are.
mm,
You wouldn't want her to focus on anything that she's going to attach herself to that's going to pull her down. You wouldn't want that for her.
Hmm. Right.
So I'm stressing this because I want to suggest that you make a committed, knowledgeable effort to go, that thinking is toxic to me. And when it pops up, you think you're comforting yourself by, if I can just find out why I have this horrible feeling and who did what to me, you think you're somehow comforting yourself, but really all that's happening is you're just walling yourself in.
Mm.
And it's a recurring, pattern. And so when those thoughts come up, stop. When you're aware, stop and go, wait. Instead of thinking about this, I'm going to think about awakening to this higher dimensional power that I have. So it's a spiritual warrior tactic. That thought is an enemy, and now you're being attacked by an enemy. So you look forward, look to your power, your strength.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's been very good. I really like the
Mm.
feeling of your guides. They're so sweet and they're so kind and they're so loving, and I can feel them. They're very, yeah, they're just so subtle and very precious beings. So do you have any other last minute questions for me or for your guides?
I was wondering what my relationship with Itana was or is.
Who is Itana to you?
Yeah. This is the guide that you mentioned her name in the last session. Yeah. The
I'm trying to remember. I felt somebody's presence and her name was Itana.
mhm.
I'm just curious, have you experienced her in other meditations or anything? Has she come to you?
I have, yeah. She's my primary like guide and person that I speak to. Um and like I don't know, I felt like um I felt like she always comes to me with very loving energy. And I was wondering, is there something more there, or am I making crap up? So,
Well, what I'm getting is that we want him to get to know her better.
mm,
She has some powerful tools for reawakening, and I'm feeling her presence. So it's different than the other guys. Um, see, what would you like to say? She very coyly says, he knows who I am to him,
mm,
and we need to talk more. So again, the response is, you got to talk. You got to talk to your people and find out.
mm,
So be more. This is me talking now. Be
mm,
more proactive. Don't be so shy. Somebody drops you a note and says hello, pick up the card and give them a call. Go check them out. Say, hey, it's me. You came over to my house, remember? Want to
mm.
hang out? So
Okay,
reach out and expand continue to open your heart to these people.
okay.
Just generally speaking, you, me, anybody listening, if a being goes out of their way to connect with you and you communicate with them telepathically, that means that's somebody that you have an open invitation to be very closely connected and be very good friends with them. And
Mm,
you should, I've done this before. There was a being that came to me, like a year or so ago. It was very, very powerful. And anyway, I got involved in other things, and I go, wow, I wonder if that being is still there. And I reached out to her, and she was, boom, she was right there. She was
Mm.
just waiting for me to, give her a call, basically. You know,
Yeah.
same thing with that. I definitely felt her. She's definitely connecting to you. Yep. Just, I can still feel it. She's definitely you're very, very important to her. And she has a lot to teach you. That's
Mm.
all I'm getting. And she says the rest is none of my business. So
Okay.
between you and her. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to tell him? We're very proud of him. He's become very powerful in the past few days, and he doesn't see it all yet. But we're very, very pleased with his progress. So very proud.
Thank you.
And there more of them are going to be coming to you soon. He said we're going to be coming to him soon.
Awesome.
All right. Now everybody's clapping. We're very happy with this interaction. So I guess we can go ahead and leave it there on that good note. And
Yeah, sounds good.
thank you so much for the opportunity to get to know your spirit better. And thank you for being so brave and generous in sharing your path with others, so that it'll help others as they become uh, reacquainted to their 5D self. So you're doing people a great service just by being yourself and making yourself known to everybody.
Mm.
Very, very generous. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Master Priest. We are all so privileged and blessed to have you on this planet with us, empowering us and guiding us. We all need you, and we all really appreciate everything that you've done and are doing and will do.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. Really appreciate you.
My privilege. This transmission is nothing unusual. Every single person that I've given readings for, you find out in the higher dimensional levels, they are the most powerful beings you can imagine. In fact, if you'd like to have your own experience with light beings, please come to the live guided interdimensional meditations that we do live every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. They're free, and you can go see all of the ones we've done. You just go to the live tab on my YouTube channel, and you can see all of them there in case you can't make the live ones. That's it, my friends. Check out all the other links here in case you want to see all the things that I provide, with the sole intent of helping you to expand into your highest 5D awareness and to bring 5D to planet Earth. Thank you very much. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. I'll see you all very soon.